Good morning. Welcome to Yo, I'm Alive, Morning Wellness with Wadulisi. I'm Wadulisi, aka Trishan Williams, and I like to start all my groups with a morning with a wellness exercise. It's a relaxation exercise. It's a simple breathing exercise. Most of you probably have done it a million times before, but I feel that it works very well in my groups. So for this exercise, we inhale good vibes and we exhale bad vibes. And as we inhale, we lift our arms, and as we exhale, we lower them. And we also, as we inhale, we kind of we shout out some vibes that we want in the universe that we want to bring to our lives. And as we exhale, we shout out the bad vibes that we want to let go of. So, what is a vibe? So, a vibe basically is your emotional state. It's also a feeling, and a hunch or feeling that you get from a situation, or sometimes a person. People say I got a good vibe, you have a good connection, or they say sometimes we have a bad vibe. It just doesn't work for us. So let's start this exercise. It's really kind of simple. It's just kind of it's a great way of centering yourself. I do it a couple of times in the morning. The start of my day, it centers me. It helps me connect to my spiritual center, and it also gives me an opportunity to plan my day. What am I looking for to get out of this day? So let's start. For instance, ready? So we're going to start with an inhale. And we're going to inhale. For me, I'm going to shout out. I always shout out love, peace, joy, acceptance, wellness, good health. And I exhale and I push out bad vibes, hate, stress, anxiety, confusion, poor health. I'm going to inhale. Again, I'm going to inhale good, beauty, calm, centeredness, uh, acceptance, community, cooperation. I'm going to push out disunity, disorganization, hate, combativeness. I'm going to bad health. This is where you might, if you might push out for cancer, fibroids, whatever's going on in your life, poor nutrition. Some people inhale money, success, growth, and development. Exhale substance abuse, addiction, whatever, wherever you're at. So for you, for everyone, this is a personal exercise. It's what's going on inside of you. So we inhale again, positive vibes. For me, love, peace, joy, wellness, emotional health, acceptance. Exhale, rejection, time stress, anxiety, disorder, confusion, hate, gossip. So uh, I hope that this is a exercise that you will incorporate into your life, because I find that it's very centering and powerful. Again, welcome to Yo, I'm Alive, Morning Wellness with Wadulisi. I am your hostess, Wadulisi. Um, let's begin. And now for a commercial break. Today's topic is using harm reduction to reduce everyday stress. But before I begin to talk about using harm reduction to reduce everyday stress, I want to discuss first what is harm reduction. So, harm reduction is a term that's used a lot in substance abuse counseling. It's also used in marital counseling. We're going to use the harm reduction model for marriage counseling. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Then I'm going to bring it back to how we can apply it in our everyday lives as normal people, just to relieve everyday stress. So, what is harm reduction? Harm reduction is used a lot as a term in substance abuse, but for our uses, we're going to use the definition of harm reduction with regards to like marital counseling. So in this model, harm reduction is minimizing or reducing negative behaviors in a relationship as opposed to trying to eradicate, eliminate them, or completely end them. So you're trying to reduce like damages. You're trying to reduce negative behaviors, um, but not necessarily end them. So what are the goals of harm reduction in our model? One goal would be reducing harmful or negative behaviors within the relationship. Another goal would be prioritizing well-being and relationship health. And the third goal would be promoting positive change in the relationship. So, how does harm reduction differ from conflict resolution? So, as we stated before, in the harm reduction model, you're trying to reduce negative behaviors and you're trying to promote well being and relationship health and positive change, but you're not necessarily trying to end the behavior. You're not necessarily, as a goal, trying to stop the behavior. Now, with conflict resolution, you are trying to give the individuals in the relationship the skills and the strategies to resolve the conflict and have a deeper emotional bond. So we're using a harm reduction model so that at the end of the example, you may still have this stress in your marriage life or in your relationship life, but you have a better way of dealing with it. It doesn't necessarily go away. With conflict resolution, you really do want to end the behavior that is causing the conflict. But in harm reduction, for whatever reason, it's not going to end it necessarily, but you're going to have a better way of dealing with it as a couple or as a as a family unit. Okay, now that we have a better understanding of harm reduction, we can apply it in our everyday lives, in our everyday situations. So I'm going to give you an example of how you and I, regular people, can use this harm reduction model concept in our everyday stressful lives. So I'm going to use the first example I'm going to use. I call the beautiful wife. So here's the situation. So you've been married. In this example, you've been married to a woman for 13 years. You dated her for 4 years. She, when you met her, she was a woman who was very much into makeup, hair, and nails. And for 4 years, you were happy to court her. One of your loving rituals was paying for her to have her hair, makeup, and nails done monthly at a cost of about $250. So that was for 4 years. After 4 years, you got married. You've been married for 13 years. You have three children. About 5 years into the marriage, after the birth of your third child, you called a family meeting with your wife and you said, baby, we got to get more serious about things. We cannot keep spending $250 a month on makeup, hair, and nails. Um, we need to invest as a couple, husband and wife, in a retirement fund. So your wife's response was, she was great, fine with investing money monthly for a retirement fund, but she said, when we dated, you took care, you made my beauty a priority. So she never really agreed with you ending her personal care budget, her beauty budget. But you insisted. So Every month, you've been putting $250 away for the retirement fund. But you've noticed over the years that somehow her makeup, hair, nails gets done regardless. Now, in the beginning, she would say, my girlfriend did it for me, I did it myself, everything. She always had an excuse. But you've noticed over the years that if you're really honest, you know groceries are missing, dog food is missing, school supplies are missing, some bills are being paid late, and you suspect strongly that she's taking money from the household budget to continue to get her hair, her makeup, and her nails done. And when you confront her on this, it becomes heated, and she swears that that's not the truth, and that is, she have always have an excuse. But the one thing she always says is, this never was a problem before we got married. When we were dating, this was never a problem. So this is the situation. Okay, so we have the situation. Now let's discuss some of the issues. There's the issue of trust and feeling deceived. There's the issue of potentially feeling less loved. She may feel less loved by her husband. This was something that the beauty budget was something he did for her during courtship, and now that they're married, he's taking it away. There's also the issue of possibly poor credit. If she's paying bills late, that could damage their credit. In addition to that, there's the issue of uh, taking money from the household budget for food. There's poor diet, for school supplies. There's all kind of issues that come up here. And then also this conflict could escalate. This verbal conflict could not just divorce, which, what are you saving money to retire for if you end of divorce, but also what about emotional and physical abuse? It could get ugly. So do you want to hurt your baby, right? So this situation is it's not going to go away, right? So this is not something that she's not going to she's never going to see it that way. It's not that you're wrong. You're not wrong to want to financially plan for your marriage and your family, but you're not really right. So see the issue of the beauty care budget as a courtship issue. Let's say during your courtship, she used to say, or something she says to you in the bedroom, she calls you Mr. Biggie. And let's say all of a sudden she decides, I'm not going to call you Mr. Biggie anymore, but you're old for that, and we've matured, we're beyond that. You would feel hurt. So in the same way, this hair budget, this makeup, beauty, and hair is connected to your romance. So it might seem trivial to you, but it's not trivial to her. So you're not totally wrong, but you're not totally right. It's not going to go away, right? So how can we face facts? This issue is not going away. It's not going to go away. And how can we use the harm reduction model, which is promoting the well-being of the relationship, and also looking for making a positive kind of change, right? So I would suggest in this kind of situation that you use humor, right? So that instead of um, first of all, you have to face facts. She's not going to change the budget. So either you're going to have to get the money from some other source, make more money. You might have to reduce less money, put less money into the fund. And in addition to that, you know, you might use humor to get through the anger. So let's say every time you see your wife with hair and makeup and nails, instead of like going berserk, you have like a peer support group of your boys where you say this is just a comedy moment. And so let's say for every time you see her hair, done, and she had spent money, you make it about a Martin Lawrence comedy moment. So that if you see her with her makeup, you make it a Steve Harvey moment, right? And then if you see her with her nails, you make it a Tyler Perry moment. So if you see her one day, you see her, you go, oh my gosh, I forget who has her hair. So this say, but hair was Tyler Perry. Her hair, so you say, it's a Tyler Perry. When you get on the phone and say, Yo, it's a Tyler Perry moment, and you guys make an arrangement to look at a Tyler Perry tape and laugh it off at some later date, or you make a few comments over the phone, or he says something funny to you that Tyler Perry says, and you say it back, so that you can get through the stress of it. Because the way where you going right now, you're gonna lose your marriage. Now, meanwhile, what about your kids? Losing their father, your three kids, and having poor nutrition, because without you, she's gonna spend even more money on makeup, hair, and nails. So somebody got to step back and have some common sense on this, right? You gotta face facts. When you marry her, she was hair, makeup, and nails. She's not gonna change. So you gotta cope with it. So that's why it's harm reduction, because there's not gonna be a resolution. You got to deal with it. So in this instance, it comes down to marriage, love, fidelity, commitment, trust, family, forever, um, acceptance, intimacy versus $250. Yo, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You got to kind of let it go and deal with the harm reduction model that helps you have a positive change that promotes the wellness and the well-being of your relationship with your husband and your wife. So this is Wadulisi. Thank you for listening to this topic, and this is part one. Next week, part two. Yo, I'm alive. Morning wellness with Wadulisi. Okay, so this is where I like to, in all my groups, I like to have a kind of um, a calming moment where we kind of like, especially after something heavy, we sit back and we relax. And usually at this time, I would play relaxing music. But it's getting so ridiculous on like YouTube and Facebook. If you even like, play like five notes of a song, you get kind of like, the SWAT team comes at you to kind of like, ask you, have you purchased that song and everything. Um, it's getting so scary. It's getting so scary. It's almost like Facebook, YouTube, ICE coming at you. For your song, your lyric rights. So this is it. So I don't want to take out the relaxation part, the music relaxation. So I said, later for all of this, I'm just gonna sing my own song. I'm gonna hum my own tune, and I'm like, is that okay? Is that okay, YouTube? Is that okay, Facebook? Do I need a permission note from my mother? Do I need a hall pass? Is it okay if I lift my own voice and song and sing? So I'm gonna invite all of you for this segment. I'm gonna put the lyrics out and invite you to sing along because I find that singing, and I don't have okay. Disclaimer, I do not have a good voice, but I find that singing opens up my lungs. It makes me feel more positive and extroverted. It's hard to believe, but there was a time when I was kind of shy. Even after surgery, they kind of like encourage you to do breathing exercises. It helps you to breathe and center yourself. So we're going to take a few minutes, at least I'm going to invite you to take a few minutes to sing along with me. Feel free to sing along. Good, good loving. Oh, oh, yeah. I can't sleep at night. I toss and turn, listening for the telephone. But when I get your call, I'm all choked up. Can't believe you called my home. And as a matter of fact, it blows my mind you would even talk to me. Because a girl like you is a dream come true, a real life fantasy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good loving. Good loving. No matter what your friends try to tell you, we were made to fall in love and we will be together any kind of weather. It's like that. It's like that. Every little step I take, you will be there. Every little step I make, we'll be together. Good, 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 good loving. Another commercial break? Like a lot of women my age and older, I like to spend some time in the morning, daily or at least weekly, in some sort of spiritual meditation or contemplation. For me, my higher power is Christianity, Jesus Christ. But this it's not about your faith, and it's about you as a spiritual person, and you, of course, this is you welcome, you choose your own faith. But I am going to um, as a tradition, read a little bit from the book of Psalms, not in any particular order, just one after another, just spiritual reading. Take it for whatever it is. You can, of course, read from any spiritual book that you choose. I mentioned before the Quran, the Book of Mormons. I don't know about it, whatever is your spiritual guide. Now, I like to say something positive about other faiths to show my openness, that I really mean that this is about you as a spiritual person. It's not about any particular faith. So last week I said something about Buddhism, and I want to say something nice today about Hinduism. I really like I had the opportunity to learn a little bit about the festival of Diwali, the festival of lights, and I saw some pictures and some movies that I had the festival in the background, and I think it's very beautiful. Diwali, from my understanding, it symbolizes the victory of light over darkness, and the festival of lights and the display of lights. It actually reminds me of the Christmas season, where you have lights all around you. And so it's a very beautiful tradition that I can relate to, also in Christ. So at this time, I'm going to just read Psalm 2, and take it for whatever it is to you, and I hope it lands in a good place. So I'm going to just read, and I read from like most people, my phone. Psalm 2. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their hands asunder, and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way. When his wrath is kindled but a little, blessed are all they that have put their trust in him. So for me, I just take a minute and I let that settle in my heart. So I would encourage you to spend a little time on yourself as a spiritual person, and read from or listen to your spiritual music, or chant, whatever you do. But I would encourage you to spend some time contemplating on yourself as a spiritual person, and not just being consumed by this your day-to-day life as a corporal person. We're more than the sum of our parts. So I would encourage you, at least on a weekly basis, to take some time to get to know the part of you that others don't typically see. So this is Yo, I'm alive, morning wellness with Wadulisi, and thank you so much again for checking in. Have a wonderful day. Okay, so a slight disclaimer. While I do welcome all letters and correspondences from persons, and I just want to say clearly that this is more a peer program, and I'm I'm not a trained mental health practitioner. So if you're experiencing anything like um, serious, persistent, negative thoughts or negative thinking, and you have some sort of like traumatic experiences, then it's probably better for you to consult a trained or certified mental health practitioner and not, write to me about anything that is beyond my scope of practice. Now, to help you with this, I developed what I consider a litmus test. Is kind of like a simple scale from 0 to 5 of what might be as an issue that I can handle. So 0 would be this issue makes you feel like you want to sigh on a scale, and 5 would be it makes you want to cry. So for an example of an issue, let's say that you just went shopping and you bought groceries and your refrigerator broke down. So on using my litmus test, my scale on a scale of 0 to 5, you probably are at a 4. You're probably wanting to cry because you lost $200 worth of groceries, meat, and dairy, and produce. You're probably also close to road rage with your landlord, your superintendent. It might involve your property manager, and it might even involve the Maytag salesperson of the refrigerator. So that's probably not something that I can handle. It's not in my scope of practice. It's not appropriate for me. Now, another example of something that might be a letter that's kind of appropriate for me is, so let's say you write to me, hey Wadulisi, I saw your show and I really enjoyed your breathing exercise, but unfortunately I'm a quadriplegic, so I can't really raise my hands. Okay, so if you send me a letter like that and you say, well, can you suggest some other breathing exercise, I would think about, say, maybe on a scale of 0 to 5, that's I do feel a little bit of the 0 like sighing, but I think I can handle that. So let's try. Let's do a breathing exercise that does not involve your hands or your legs. We could say inhale and then go count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, positive. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, negative. So hey, that's a letter I could handle. So on a scale of 0 to 5, that's kind of a 0, and that you could write to me about. Thank you.